And I will say that you and I, once again, dress alike in a weird way. You have a Fire Island sweatshirt on, and I have a Kismet Fire Department sweatshirt on. And Kismet,
that's what that is?
Yes, and Kismet,
awesome.
You'll see. And Kismet is a town in Fire Island. See?
So, yeah, it's a community there that's west of Ocean Beach. Yes.
Right. So
beautiful place.
I have their sweatshirt on today in honor of Mike White, because I do believe in Mike White Day for a lot of reasons. And we'll get into all the doom scrolling that Al's show sheet has today, because there's a lot to get to and there's a lot to talk about and a lot to dissect. But I just wanted to remind people out there that if you are up and you are on your way to work today, and I'm not talking about you white-collar workers, I'm talking about you blue-collar workers, because Mike White is a representative of you. He's a guy that has a dream. He's a guy that's been bounced around. He's a guy that had to switch colleges. He's a guy that was a great baseball pitcher in high school, probably could have taken that path, but he decided he wanted to be a quarterback in the NFL, and he wanted to live the dream. You know who that reminds me of, G?
I don't know, Boomer. Who does that remind you of?
Me. So I am pulling for this guy like you cannot believe. And I'm pulling for him because he doesn't have his own special coach. Yeah. He wasn't drafted in the first round. Yeah. He wasn't wet nursed and privileged and all this other crap.
Yep.
This is a guy that basically fought to get here and showed everybody last week that maybe, just maybe, potentially, he could be the Jets' version of Tom Brady. And he got the job just like Tom Brady got the job. He got the job and took a hold of it much like Tom Brady did, although he's a little bit older than Tom Brady. And he's not going to be freaking Brock Osweiler or Matt Flynn, that he is going to be the leader of the Jet Nation moving forward. So there's a big part of me that really wants to see this guy make it. So he's been in the NFL for 4 years.
Yep.
Now, he has made white-collar money. He's averaging about $522,000 a year. But compare that to everybody else in this league and how much money they get paid.
It's nothing compared to the quarterbacks.
It's pittance is what it is, I tell you. And I'm telling you, I am rooting for this blue-collar guy to take it all the way. So if you are on your sanitation truck, you're in there getting ready to go do some plumbing, or you're manufacturing, or you're working out on the streets of the LIE and jamming up traffic, I'm telling you that this guy is representing you when he steps on the field tonight in his Jet white uniform. He will be in his white uniform. So there's a lot of things that are aligning for tonight's game for Mike White, and he has an opportunity to here for a number of things. One, he could stake a claim that he deserves to be on the field the rest of the season. Yeah. That's one. Number two, he can also stake a claim that he belongs in the NFL. I think he showed enough last week that somewhere along the line, because at the end of this year, he's a free agent, much like Taylor Heineke was going to be for the Washington football team after they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs, that he can get himself a legitimate contract, and he and his beautiful wife can go on and start their life without the insecurities of not knowing whether or not he's going to be on a freaking football team. So there are so many reasons why we should all be sending out so much positive energy as much as we possibly can in this miserable city that is always at each other's throat towards a guy who is trying to live a dream, G. Trying to live a dream.
Well, he's living it right now. He is smack dab in the middle of that dream, and it's going to continue tonight. I really do believe that it is, for all the reasons that we talked about on Monday and throughout the week, that it was not a fluke. You can't beat the Cincinnati Bengals and play that well and throw for 400 yards on luck. That's not the way it works. The throws that he made, the confidence in which he played with, the fact that his teammates loved him so much and were not surprised by this, the fact that the offensive coordinator was confident enough in his quarterback for the first time all year to go upstairs as opposed to being down on the field because he felt like the guy who was under center needed it. All of these things that we didn't know about Mike White leading up to the game, then watching him play, then rewatching him play, then watching the highlights. He is going to play again. He is going to play well again. I don't love the fact that Vegas doesn't believe in him, but screw it. Why would they?
We have to believe in him.
Why would they?
God dang it, we need something.
Yes, and got something.
Like the Knicks lay a goddamn egg last night, and we need something. We need something to cheer for, and I want to cheer for a guy who's just trying to live a dream, man. That's all it is. It's about a dream. It's about a young man that saw himself and had so much confidence in himself that when he was going to step on that field, he was going to get the job done. And then after the game, humbly accept all the showering of chants with his name and celebrating with his wife and family, and basically doing something that nobody, and I mean nobody other than himself and maybe some of his teammates, I will admit that, believed that he was going to be able to do. So, man, I swear to God, he's got a chance in time right now. It's like he's won the lottery, and now he's got to cash it in, and he's got to make it happen. And he's got to inspire his teammates like a great quarterback should do. He's got to lead his teammates. He's got to go out there, play poised, stay accurate, make some deeper throws. I'm sure tonight he'll be pressed into doing that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, there's no doubt about it that the Colts, who on a short week saw what Mike White did in that game, they saw where he was successful, they saw the yards after catch, they saw the short passes, that they're going to force him to throw the ball down the field. They have to, right? I mean, that would be common knowledge.
Well, it would be common knowledge, true. And plus, he showed enough athleticism that I think you still have to worry about maybe him taking off for a first down or two, which I think is good. But now he finds out what it's like to have a team truly prepared for him because he put something on tape and now they know what he looks like. So this will be interesting. But again, I don't know if I think it's a disadvantage for him a little bit because it's a short week and probably an advantage for a team like the Colts that, they've had their coach has been there for 4 years. They've been through this before. They know what's going on. And, the interesting thing about the Colts, 2 weeks ago, they played on a Monday night in San Francisco, got back on a Tuesday morning, like at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then they had to play Sunday against the Titans. Then they had to turn around to a short week. So I don't know. There's a lot of crap going on here. You never know. But I think that Mike White, if they lose, let's say they lose, I don't know, 28-27, 38 or 34-30, and he puts up 3 touchdowns and throws for 350 yards. There's your quarterback, man. The other kid doesn't even deserve to get back on the field, no matter how many freaking coaches they come in here to put Pampers on him and baby him and coalesce him or whatever the hell they're doing with him.
So you think that if he plays well tonight, that's it for the rest of the year? Like it's not going to be a week-to-week thing?
Look, if this kid plays well, he deserves to be on the field.
Yeah.
The other kid, sit down and watch, son, and let me see how bad you want it. Let me see you practice, and eventually there may be another time that he gets on the field due to injury or ineffectiveness or something. But, I can only go by, the way I felt when I first got the job at the University of Maryland. When I first got that job, I said, I am not giving this goddamn thing up. I am not. I've waited too long for this. I've worked too hard for this. I've dealt with so much crap over my life. Nobody thought I had a chance. They lied to Frank Reich thinking that I was going to fail out of school and get married and all this other crap. Huh. And, and you realize all the things that you're up against. And then when you get the opportunity, you got to seize the moment. And not everybody's able to do that. I'm not saying that it's easy for anybody, but there are examples of that out there. And one of the biggest examples, and it turned out to be the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, maybe one of the greatest leaders of all time, maybe a guy who told his team, everybody, get freaking vaccinated so we can go back and get another goddamn Super Bowl. That's a leader. It's not a guy that's standing in front of a press conference saying that you're immunized, and then every press conference you have since then, you don't wear a freaking mask because you're not following protocols. So everybody thinks you're vaccinated when you're actually unvaccinated.
Yeah, same thing standing on the sidelines, same thing around the facility. Yeah, that's not leader stuff.
Everybody thought, now we're going to go into the doom scrolling for a second. Everybody thought outside of the Packer facility that Aaron Rodgers was vaccinated because of the way he was carrying on with his press conferences and the way he was handling himself. Protocols clearly state unvaccinated players, while in the facility and while giving a press conference within the facility, must wear a mask. And he never wore a mask. So therefore, all of us just assumed, because he used the word immunized in a press conference in August, that he was vaccinated. So I don't know what the F the Packers are doing with this guy. I don't know how they're holding him accountable. I know
he should be fined, right?
Well,
for every press conference.
Here's the thing. I know that the NFL will fine the Packers once they get through the investigation process and they look through all of this, because they have fined other teams for violations. Now, the NFL can't, what's the word? I guess they can't watch over all 32 individual teams. They just don't have the manpower for that. Each of the teams has got to hold everybody accountable within their own buildings so crap like this doesn't happen. Now, I also know that Aaron Rodgers grew his hair out so he could be John Wick for freaking Halloween. Now, was he at a Halloween party? And was he at that party without a mask on? Because I saw a picture of him on Mercedes Lewis's Instagram that said that he was dressed as John Wick, and there was a picture taken. I don't know if Mercedes Lewis took the picture or somebody else took the picture. And, protocols would tell you that if you are unvaccinated, you should not be doing that. The unvaccinated rules are clear. And if I were one of the other 31 teams, I would want this team, the Green Bay Packers, from Mark Murphy on down, to be held accountable for not requiring him to follow all the protocols that have been put in place to protect all the locker rooms.
And what about his teammates, too? What about the teammates who maybe got the vaccine, who didn't want to get the vaccine, so they didn't have to follow the other rules? What about the guys who sat there and maybe didn't get vaccinated on the Packers that are sitting there following the other rules? And here's Aaron Rodgers that's lying to everybody and not following the rules because he's Aaron Rodgers and he thinks he's smarter and better than everybody.
Well, again, I don't know what he was doing and how, and I'm assuming that the Green Bay Packers were testing him on the unvaccinated testing protocol requirements. I'm assuming that. Therefore, I'm also assuming that we're not sure who's unvaccinated, who's vaccinated, unless you watch a post-game press conference. And if a guy stands up there and he has a mask on, then you know he's unvaccinated because he's required to wear that mask.
Unless it's Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that's right. And this is where, this whole deception aspect comes into it, and how he puts his team in a really precarious situation. Now, here's the thing. He will get paid even though he is not playing this week. And the reason he's going to get paid is because the Green Bay Packers are not forfeiting the game. If the game were forfeited and all of a sudden a major breakout happened and he was unvaccinated, that means both teams would not be paid. The Green Bay Packers would lose the game, and everybody would lose because of an unvaccinated player not following protocols.
Yeah, both teams would have a loss, right? Isn't that the way that it works?
I don't think both teams would have a loss. It's a forfeit by the Green Bay Packers.
Okay, but both teams don't get paid.
But neither team gets paid because there would not be a game.
Yeah.
So he is technically still going to be paid, assuming that there's no major outbreak or anything else. Remember, they've already lost a few other players due to COVID, that have missed games. And now he's not only going to miss this game, the earliest he can come back under the current set of circumstances and the protocols, assuming everybody's following the protocols, would be the Friday, I believe, before their next game. And who knows, he wouldn't be practicing all week. And the interesting thing is that this lunatic is basically immunized to some homeopathic BS.
And he went to the NFL and he said he petitioned to see if he would pass the standards. They told him no, and he still went with the the vaccinated players' rules around the facility.
Well, when he was giving press conferences, I don't know how he was within the facility.
Well, I'm assuming games he was out there with no mask on when he was supposed to be.
Yeah, but so all right, there's technicalities there, and the technicalities are during the season, if you are an unvaccinated practice squad inactive player, or a player who is inactive but not as a practice squad, but you're on the active roster, but you're inactive for the game because they do have inactives, and you're on the sideline, you have to wear a mask on the sideline. So that's how you can tell if somebody's vaccinated or unvaccinated.
Okay. Yep.
Because on the sideline,
yeah, on the sideline, yeah.
All right. So if you're inactive for a game and you're on the sideline,
yeah,
you need to have a mask on if you're unvaccinated.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So basically, we have Aaron Rodgers telling the world that he was immunized, which is obfuscation of really what he makes you think that he's vaccinated when in actuality he's not.
He's like, I'm smarter than you. I'm going to dupe all you people because I'm Aaron Rodgers.
Right. So I can say immunized.
I hosted Jeopardy.
I'll say immunized. So like when I hear immunized, I think vaccination, but it's a word parsing and it's BS is what it is.
Right.
And then when he is doing his press conferences, he's doing it without a mask. Now, there's two types of press conferences. There were all these Zoom press conferences. So if you're doing a Zoom press conference, you don't have to wear a mask.
He did plenty in person.
But almost all of his press conferences have been in person, and he's been without a mask. That is a breaking of protocol, and he's probably done it at least 50 times. At least 50 times. So this will be interesting. The Pat McAfee show will be interesting to hear him try to explain himself. And this is putting the Green Bay Packers, who, by the way, are the number one seed in the NFC right now, in just an absolutely impossible position. And Matt LaFleur looks like an idiot trying to explain this.
Oh, he was taking the company line, the whole thing. He was like, he didn't even answer if Aaron Rodgers was unvaccinated or not. Like, go ahead and answer it. Everybody knows now. It's been reported out there.
Right. Well, I don't know if he feels like he can't do it or doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to piss off his diva quarterback. And I love Aaron Rodgers as a player, man. And I actually even like him I think he's a quirky, unique individual, which is fine.
This is too quirky, though.
But this is idiotic. Actually, it's idiotic. It's mind-numbing that the leader of the team, the highest paid player, the guy that makes all the money, basically put his team in jeopardy. And I'm sorry, he still could have caught it like you caught it, could have had a breakthrough case, but most likely would have been able to play, assuming that he had no symptoms or he's asymptomatic and had 2 negative tests. And, I heard Al and Jerry talking about the Giant test. Like, what? So you got all these positive tests, then you don't have positive tests? What?
Yeah,
who the F is testing?
And
the guy that's
especially
running the freaking headsets over there?
apparently. Yeah, I mean, I was told with all the testing that's out there that false positives, because we've had, obviously, this go through my house, but the false positive is a very, very rare thing. That the false negative is more of a rare thing. Like, you could test negative on a rapid, but then your PCR comes back positive a lot. But false positives are not a thing. But somehow with the Giants, there was how many false positives?
Right.
Like
well, you tested negative initially, and then you tested
5
positive
times.
Eventually.
Yeah, 5 times.
Right. So eventually, you could have had some failed tests there too.
Yeah.
The other thing about the Giants, and I made some calls. Calls yesterday.
Okay.
About this whole sideline headset fiasco.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. It is a 100% real thing. And it is happening all over the league. And the league is basically telling the teams to keep it on the carpet. First of all, it's not their sponsor Bose's fault. Okay? Bose does not control the spectrum in which these things are running on. Okay? Bose just puts a sticker on the headsets and says that's Bose. Because the coaches are wearing Bose, therefore Bose is a great product. And Bose
so the NFL's lying about how
there's
this
a problem.
Stuff is working?
There's an issue. So what I have found out is that every team now, this is amazing, more crap piled up on the coach's desk. And this is why now coaches are hiring these chief of staffs to handle all this BS and all this crap outside of just dealing with football. So in every stadium, there's a black box that sits on the field, believe it or not. And you have to update the software for all of these things, especially when they're changing these things, so they connect properly. And every now and again, there is going to be a drop in the connection for whatever reason, much like maybe your cell phone may drop when you're driving in an area where you can't pick up the cell service. And it's very similar to that. And this has been an ongoing situation. There have been more emails and meetings regarding this because communication is paramount to success in the NFL. And when there is a hiccup in the communication, then all of a sudden you have problems like the Giants had on Monday night. And I don't know if Joe Judge did it purposely because this has been going on with the Giants. I know that, and I know that he is extremely frustrated. And I know a couple of people have had their butts reamed because of it. And I found out calling around the NFL yesterday and just talking to different people that it has been going on in a lot of stadiums. So imagine this. you have if you're the Jets, you have like 40 coaches, right? They have like a one-to-one coach-to-player situation over there. Like, Rob Saleh just wants to hire everybody. Every friend he's ever had has got a job for the Jets now, for God's sake. They even have a babysitter for the quarterback. But they even have now a communications guy that has to travel with every team. And that communication guy is in charge of the 25 headsets or so that each team is allowed to have during the game. And there's a black box that every one of these headsets has got to go through, and they all have to stay on the same wavelength. And it is a problem.
Well, it seems like Joe Judge is the only one complaining about it publicly, though, and it's happening everywhere around the league.
Well,
so that's not a great look.
Well, the point being is that he was asked why he used timeouts in the first half. And he gave you an honest answer. I know it sounds like an excuse, but he didn't give you some bull crap coach speak. He told you the truth. We had communication problems, the headsets. And remember, we were making fun of the software and the hardware updates and all this other crap?
Yep.
That is a 100% real thing for all 32 teams in the NFL.
Okay, interesting. All right, so we'll get off Joe Judge's back for that. Yep.
He's just telling you the truth, and I know that the NFL is upset that he said what he said because they fine coaches for crap like this.
All right, we do have to take a break.
I'm all fired up this morning.
I know.
It's a Mike White Thursday.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.